Hi, this is Dr. Stephen with Outclick Magazine. Today we welcome Craig Moody to the program. Craig is an award-winning South Florida author. He is one of two Florida winners of the third annual Indie Author Project for his novel, The 49 Indian. Moody's entry was facilitated through our local authors Broward County Library Initiative. Craig is also the feature of this month's Outclick Magazine. Craig, welcome to the program.
Hi, I'm honored to be here. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. We were excited about your book and this project. We were chatting just before the program. Tell us a little bit about yourself personally, kind of where are you from, where do you live, and a little bit about who Craig is.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised here in South Florida, which seems to be a rarity these days. I don't often meet people who were, that are true natives, born and raised. Most people, are from somewhere else, or they went away and came back. And I've been here all 37 years. So I currently live in downtown Fort Lauderdale, which has been a new experience because I grew up basically in the Everglades where my parents live. It's the last portion of the county you can be in before the West Coast. Their backyard is the Everglades. So living in a more urban area is definitely a change of pace. Because even on my own, I've always lived out in the burbs. So it's nice to be able to walk out of the building and go to Starbucks or, walk places, which is all pretty new to me. So, and I live here with my partner, my boyfriend, Gable, and he's a tattoo artist. And we live literally a block or 2 blocks from where he works. So that's a great thing for him. Might be a little too close. We joke, sometimes you need a little space from the office. And let's see. Yeah. So I'm definitely a native. And I think that plays a part, in the 49 Indian. It starts in South Florida and it kind of captures, I think our environment, our atmosphere that's unique to South Florida. So I'm 37 years old. The 49 Indian is my first novel. It came out in 2017. And so I think in my bio, it always mentions my bird, Allie, who is now actually 25 and a half. So I've had this bird since I was 12 years old. And so that's probably my longest friendship. And so people are like, why do you mention your bird in your bio? And I'm like, because that's like my child. So she's here, she's out on the patio. She would be squawking if not. So she would be interjecting. So
I want to talk about your book. I want to hear more about that. Before we get too far into that, I want to make sure people know coming up February 13th, 2021, you have a author talk with the Broward County Library here online, I believe. Broward County, we're going to put up the website here for people to chat with you online. If you want to tell us a little bit about that, coming again Saturday, February 13th, 2021 at 1 p.m.
Yes. Yep. You said it. I'm so looking forward to that. I've had several events with the Broward County Library through the last few years, and they're always so gracious and so helpful. And I know they're very excited about this. They've been very supportive about the Indie Author win, which is incredibly meaningful for me because I feel like I'm representing home base, the home team, and it's important to have your local library support that. And so everything where it's kind of going to be like an interview, a question and answer with me and a moderator. And then at the end, we'll do question and answers with anybody online, because unfortunately we can't do this in person. Hopefully in a year from now we can, but as of now we have to continue doing everything, digital. So, but I think it'll be great. I think people, and from my experiences with Broward Library, they attract a really wonderful audience that always has great questions, very diverse, unexpected questions. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited.
That's awesome. We look forward to that as well, some interaction with some of your readers. Tell us more. You're telling us about the book. Tell us, what are you allowed to tell about the book, the characters, without giving it away, because we want people to actually go and read the book. Tell us your elevator speech or what it is about the book so we get people enticed to give them a flavor to go read it, Craig.
Right. No, I like that you said it that way, because that's always the challenge, is to not give things away. And so the conversations you have with people before they read the book versus ones that have read it are two very different conversations. But to sum it up, like you said, elevator speech, it's really a coming of age, cross country adventure. And it's really, if I could just strip it down to its bare bones, it's the story of a bond. It is a love story, but I hesitate to just generalize it as that. It's very much a friendship, a bond. The universal appeal of it is that I think all of us want to be loved and cared for through better or for worse, for lack of a better term, no matter what happens. And that's really, truly what these two young men go through on the back of this antique bike from here to California is pretty intense. But it's a bond. That's really the best way I could describe it. It's a friendship. It's a romantic relationship. It's really, I think, everything that all of us really want at the core of our beings, is to love and be loved, and to have that security that no matter what happens, good or bad, that other person has got your back as you have theirs. So that would be the stripped down.
Now, could you take off on a motorcycle and go cross country with someone? I don't know that I've got the nerve to do that. Could you?
No, nope. Not at all. I actually grew up, my family has motorcycles. They have all that stuff. And I was always kind of the black sheep when it came to that. I was always nervous about the all-terrain vehicles, and especially motorcycles that can operate on the street, because it's not so much you as it is the other people that are in their steel, vehicles that can run you off the road, or I don't know. It terrifies me. So yeah, it's a beautiful, romantic, picturesque thing. But I certainly, especially cross country, I mean, I can't imagine what your legs must feel like by the time you get from one point to the next. So nope, couldn't.
Now, when I sit down to write, I'm not writing is not necessarily my strength. When I sit down to write, I usually have a message in mind. But when I finish, I've maybe learned something about myself. Is there any one thing that maybe you learned about yourself or life, having written an entire novel, something, a revelation? I'm sure you learned a lot. But again, not giving too much away about the book. Is there something you learned that you didn't know about life or relationships when you started this journey?
Yes, absolutely. That was, as we mentioned, my first book. And I just finished my 7th book. 4 are out. The other 3 are, we're watching to see what happens with some other things that are simmering on the stove. One of the things actually that I want to mention is there is film interest for the 49 Indian, which is incredibly exciting. That would be, of course, the greatest honor for me to see it go on to find a wider audience in that way. I'm making sure I don't have a spit on my mouth here. But yes, with that book in particular, it definitely was inspired by, at the time, my partner and I had just started our relationship, and it was kind of the insecurity I had about being vulnerable and being able to open up and trust someone after being hurt and burned in the past, as we all have, which makes us more, unable to really open ourselves up easily. And so it was kind of the inspiration for that book was what I felt would be the future with this person, and also what I hoped it would be. And I wanted to just encapsulate that feeling of that bond. And so that book and what it has meant to other people from all walks of life. One of my proudest things I would say with that book in particular is the universal appeal that it seems to have. And I hear from people, not just from the gay community, but overwhelmingly from, just your average all-American straight man or woman that writes me and says, if I would have known this was a gay book, I wouldn't have read it. But I'm so glad that I did, because I realized that love is just love. And it I guess personalizes it where people can understand, take away stigma and take away, labels or titles or whatever, and just see two people in love. And so it made me realize, to answer your question more directly, it made me see what my values are when it comes to relationships, not just romantic, but personal. And I want authenticity and a true, deep connection with people that are in my life. And I think the 49 Indian really represents that.
I think that goes back to what you said originally. We, at the end of the day, we all just want to be loved. We want that unconditional love relationship. We want that connection with a person. And I think that's a universal, as you said, whether it's LGBTQA plus, or wherever in that line of letters that people fall, we're all human, and we all have that universal need and desire. That's such a great message to carry with the book, Craig.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tell us. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, tell us about the Indie Author Project. This is such a unique project that you got to be a part of. Tell us about how you came into the project, and the award and the integration with the Broward County Library.
Yes, that was actually first shown to me by the library. It took some time. It's kind of funny how I'm a firm believer, but that things happen exactly when and how they're meant to. And when the 49 Indian first came out, I really worked hard to, try to get noticed by the library. And in the beginning, it's like, here you are, this local guy, you've got your indie book, and everybody's like, oh, that's nice. Like, you don't have any credibility yet. And over time, when the book started to win some awards and get some notice, then there was a little more interest. But it was my third book, The Stars of Locust Ridge. It got a review with Kirkus, which is looked at and valued by the library systems and bookstores. And the librarian at one of the North locations, like North Lauderdale, I don't remember which one, but she wanted to do an event with me to promote the third book. And this was right as the pandemic was coming into play and things were shutting down. So it never happened. But she handed me this pamphlet and was like, have you seen anything about the Indie Author Project? And I was like, no, that's new to me. So I kind of looked into it, and it was really exciting, because any indie author will tell you that the greatest challenge is to find not just an audience, but also a support system from libraries and bookstores. Because in the indie world today, whether it's music or, there's filmmakers that are doing their own thing with social media and YouTube and all the platforms, it makes it so much easier for artists to find a tribe, to find an audience, but it also makes it harder because it's so crowded out there. There's everyone and anyone is out there with a book or with this or with that. And it's kind of like the audience relies on kind of certain gatekeepers to separate the chaff from the wheat type of thing. And so it takes a long time to really, I always say, I'm building my resume. And that was the ultimate, I don't want to say form of approval, but it really did kind of give credibility and credence to that book in particular, and to me as a writer. And so where I was chasing after the library to like, hey, look at me, they kind of came to me when that happened. So it's a great opportunity. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud to be not just to represent Florida, but the Broward Library System. It's definitely home base. And I just love that there's an opportunity for indie authors to have a chance to get noticed and then find an audience, because there's so many wonderful indie books out there that unfortunately get overlooked because they don't have the budget to market them. And I'm one of those authors. So you really need, people, that libraries, bookstores, to help you connect and find an audience.
It's available on, they sent us the blurb on what's called Biblioboard, a service that lets self-published authors create, professionally format their books into digital and print-ready formats and submit their work for inclusion on statewide, the Indie Florida collection. It's an amazing collection of books on there, and for a way to people to read and just have, this amazing resource. And so I was looking at this earlier, obviously a couple months ago when we ventured into this program. And it's really a fascinating way for people to have experience to books, and new ways like this. So it must be a proud moment to see your work, presented this way by Broward County.
Absolutely. Yes. That's kind of how it started. Is I submitted the 4 books that are out there, and they selected all 4 of them to be a part of the program, because that is a part of the process, is they do kind of vet, what comes in. In my case, my stuff was ready to go because my books are out there in print and digital form. So everything had already been professionally formatted and ready to go. So I've not had any experience with the program formatting things and putting it together for you, so I can't speak on that. But being promoted and put on, like, it's so sleek and professional, and I think it's really going to be something that people will enjoy, because it's a tap of a finger, and there's the whole book. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to download it. It's just there. So.
Yeah, your book's also available if people want to purchase it. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and all of the big box sellers as well. Arthur, if you want to pull up the Amazon link, we've got it there, so they can pull it up on Amazon. That must be pretty proud too to see your work, on those big names as well. So tell us the names of all of the books that you have available, Craig.
Okay, so there's the 49 Indian. Okay. His name was Ezra. Okay. I'm like blinking out. The Stars of Locust Ridge and the Gold Rush Girls are the 4 that are out there. And they're out there. Okay. Very different from one another. So are the 3 that are out, that are written, that are not out, and the idea that I have for the next one. And that was a huge part of why I felt the need to go indie. Because this is not always the case, but a lot of times when you go the traditional route with an agent or a publisher, you kind of can get pigeonholed easier than you can when you do it on your own. And I like to just jump around and different genres, different eras, different stories, whatever inspires me, is I want to have the freedom to explore that and not have to stay in the same lane over and over. So it's my hope. I mean, I'm not where I want to be yet. I really hope maybe this year will be the year to get some, I'm not really sure, someone involved that can help get these books out further than I can on my own. And it seems like it's coming together, and it's happening. So,
Well, we look forward to that. I'm sure we know great things are coming in 2021. It's going to be a new year. We want to, while we have a moment, give a special congratulations to our own Broward County Library. They were named 2020 Florida Library of the Year. For library, they were given library innovation for the project Welcome, to create newcomers, to welcome newcomers and English language learners, to inform them about the library's content. They received an Excellence in Marketing and Public Relations Award for a collaborative project at our own Fort Lauderdale International Airport. And one of their librarians, Mr. Foster, received Outstanding Scholarly Contribution. So several awards for our library. So we wanted to extend a congratulations to the library for those awards.
Yes. Definitely.
Yes. Craig, if you could give words of advice to a new writer or a new author, what would it be as someone who's accomplished works? What would you say to someone who's just starting out?
So I have a very from what people have told me, unique answer to that. And I mean, unique but not, and it is kind of cliche in a lot of ways. But at the end of the day, I believe whatever it is that you were created to do, whatever you're here to do, you've got to just you've to me, it's a spiritual thing. Like I really see myself as sort of a channel, a vessel for these stories. They come through me. And I believe that that's the case for a lot of artists. And I think that art comes from wherever it is that we came from, the universe, God, whatever you want to call that. And it unifies people. There's something about when you read a book, when you watch a movie, when you listen to music, there's something spiritual about it. There's a connection, an emotional response. So why I'm talking about all that is because I think for the artist and for a new writer in particular, it's find your way to tap into that, whatever that is. It's often unique, and fully hone that and trust that, and that will be the most important thing that you can do. Because once you find that way that you escape and channel, that's your core. No matter what happens around you, that's the most important thing. So you've got to find that, cultivate that, and become secure in that. And then that being said, don't worry about, because there is so much tremendous pressure that you can put on yourself about selling books and reviews and the response. It's just honor your process, love your process, and the rest will fall into place. And for me, I really fully believe that going in, and I've seen that come to pass time and time again. And I feel like because I'm so spiritually minded about the process, that I feel like I'm being prepared for the work to then be received by a larger audience, because I won't be so distracted by the noise, good and bad, because it's not just negative criticisms that can rock you. It can also be positive criticisms. Someone can go into their head and, well, how do I top that? And how do I do that again? And I don't worry about those things. I just follow the muse. I get excited and inspired, and I would write the books if it was just for me, or if I was only one person read them. And so it's about loving it and not worrying about the rest. Love being a storyteller, love escaping into those worlds, love the honor that you have to experience the characters in those worlds first before they go out, to everyone else. So that would be my advice, is just don't worry about everything, because all I see online or on social media, and when it comes to like indie author advice, it's always about these like secret formulas to sell books and to find an audience. And I just think if you get so focused on that, you lose sight of the excitement and the fun and the passion that comes with being an author, being a storyteller. And so just focus first on the process and loving that, and the rest will find its way. I promise.
That's great advice. They say if you really truly enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yes.
Never work a day in your life. And it's great to find your niche and find something you truly enjoy and are passionate of, and at the same time that produces a message that's a change agent for people's lives, and speaks that positive message. And I've had the privilege of speaking to so many amazing people and leaders and change agents through the magazine, through the videos, through the interviews. And it's really been a blessing to me to be able to speak to so many people who are passionate about their work, good at what they do, and at the same time are very interested in making a positive change for our community. So, Craig, we're excited for you and these works and for being a part of it. And we're appreciative of all that the Broward County Public Library does. Their digital services, their lending services, their internet services, it goes on, the list goes on and on. It's so much more than just the brick and mortar buildings that are there, but they're in so many locations. There are services like this that the library provides. So thank you, Craig. Are there any other closing words that you want to end with, or anything that you wanted to cover that I didn't ask?
No, I think you hit everything on the head. I was glad I got to say that last part there, because that is something that I love doing more than anything, is talking to other aspiring authors. And and I always say, like, look, I'm not even where I hope to be, but
Mhm.
I've by following this mindset, I have seen wonderful things happen so far. And so I feel like that is the most important thing, is just love the process, and don't worry about everything else, because it's so
Mhm.
easy to be distracted
Mhm.
by the noise. But thank you for this, and to Stephen, and to everyone that at Outclick, and Andy, for the wonderful interview. And I'm glad to hear that people are enjoying the interview. I think Andy did a beautiful job with not just the photos, but the interview itself. I feel he
Mhm.
really captured a lot of what we're talking about here, the spiritual side of being an artist, and for
Mhm.
me as a writer. And I hope, I believe the 49 Indian is very special. It's, as I was mentioning earlier, the response is very universal. And as a gay man trying to get people in, I've had experiences, many of us had, with family and people who don't understand, and they think that your love is some chosen like thing, and it's not. It's just as natural as whatever their love is.
Mhm.
And I think, for me, one of the most important things that the 49 Indian has shown to the people who've taken the time to read it, especially those who are not gay, is that they understand that falling in love for a gay person is no different than falling in love for anyone else. And
Mhm.
that, I hope, is one of the dominating messages that will be shown wherever this book may go.
Mhm.
Hopefully it goes a lot further than I've been able to bring in, and the film and all of those wonderful things. I pray they happen, because it's like it's one of my kids. That's the way I see it. I'm like, I just want my kids to do well. And and I'm proud of all of them, and just hope that, but that one in particular, the 49 Indian, will always be special. I think,
Mhm.
not just because it was my first, but because it is truly inspired by a lot of my experience and heart
Mhm.
as a person. And I think that resonates. It's got a special soul to it. So
Mhm.
may it find a tribe at some point.
I think this is so timely as our nation turned a corner in the last day, in the last couple of months, but especially in the last day, with the change in administration, the change in tone of our culture and our nation. This is such a timely message, as you said, that everyone is treated equal, that everyone will have a place at the table and a voice. And this book obviously is your voice and your message for people and for relationships and for that connection.
Yes.
So,
Thank you.
yes. Thank you, Craig. We're going to put up, Arthur is always helping me in the background. I'm most appreciative for his help. So we're going to put up your website, craig-moody.com.
Mhm. Yes.
Dash Moody.
Don't forget that dash.
Don't
Whoever that
forget,
other Craig Moody is, he got there first.
he got there first. Your Facebook, your Instagram. You said use Twitter. You're like me. You use Twitter very little, like you
Yeah.
were saying. So
Yeah.
follow you mostly on Facebook there. Go to your website. And then that's your other social media as well.
I think the
And
only one there is, I think YouTube is Craig Moody Books.
Craig Moody Books.
Books, yeah.
Okay. Okay. We'll
And
get that changed over. And then the library there is our own Broward County Public Library, which again, we've worked with them throughout this project, and they're absolutely amazing. I use them a lot personally before too, so I know what great services they provide
yep.
for a lot of people.
And so anyone in Broward County, which I'm sure is a huge part of the viewership, if you go to that link as a Broward County resident, it recognizes like where your location is, and the book will be free to you. That's what's so great. It's literally a digital library. So instead of going to the library, which of course is much more inconvenient today because of, we're trying to do what we're supposed to do and stay home and be safe. So if you're in Broward County, you hit that link, and my books and tons, as you were showing earlier, there's a lot of great material there. And for Broward County residents, it requires no logins or anything like that. You just click and read. It's very simple. It's very user-friendly.
Very user-friendly. Well, we look forward to that. And Craig, we look forward to future works from you and future books. There's some more of the links for those who are listening on the podcast as well. Library.biblioboard.com or Amazon. And you can search for it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Our website is outclick, outclique.com. And if you'd like to stay up on us, you can text OCQ to 22828. Craig, thank you so much for joining us. And again, congratulations on the award this year. And we're excited. I'm proud to have a South Florida resident be part of this project. And we look forward to more works from you, Craig.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for everything.
You're welcome. Everyone stay safe and have a great time. Great afternoon.